This is the City of Gainesville Code Enforcement Special Magistrate hearings for October the 13th, 2022. My name is Jefferson Braswell, and I've been appointed as a special magistrate pursuant to Chapter 162 Florida statutes to hear code enforcement matters brought by the City of Gainesville. Pursuant to Chapter 162, those of you charged with violating a provision of the City of Gainesville Code of Ordinances are entitled to a formal adjudicatory hearing, also known as a quasi-judicial hearing, to determine if a violation exists, to determine if you have a defense to the violation, and ultimately, if you are determined to be guilty of violating an ordinance, I will impose a penalty upon you in accordance with applicable law. The maximum penalty that I can impose is a fine of $1,000 per day. As part of the formal adjudicatory hearing, you are entitled to specific rights, which are not necessarily limited to the following. You are entitled to hear the charges against you and to see and hear the evidence against you. You have a right to testify on your own behalf. You have a right to cross-examine and question those that testify against you. You have a right to call your own witnesses. I will, at my discretion, be applying the Florida Rules of Evidence in my decisions. With that said, I will swear in the officers that will be testifying here today. I think we have enough cases where we'll just have them sworn in at once. Each of the respondents, each of those who charged, I'll swear you in when you come forward to provide your testimony. So if I could have all the officers stand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give today is the truth and nothing but the truth? I do. Thank you.
We've got one more person that just came in.
Do you know who it is?
He just came
Wait here, hold on, let me have that so I can call the first case. So, Marrero. I'm going to try and call these cases out of order so that we can get them. So that those of you that are here we can get you taken care of. I believe that's it. Special Magistrate number 2022-110, City of Gainesville versus Kurth E. Torres Marrero. And this is Officer Jones.
Good morning.
You may proceed, sir.
Special Magistrate case number 2022110. The address is 1815 Northeast 16th Way. Investigated by me. The property information, the parcel number is 10753000000. The owner is Kurth Torres Marrero. Property zoning is RMF5. Ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. The property is adjacent to Waldo Road.
What's the road on the bottom?
Waldo and it's
Northeast 16th
Northeast
Avenue.
16th Avenue.
Okay.
On 5/17/2022, while patrolling my zone, I observed this property had an accumulation of trash, rubbish, several abandoned vehicles, and a tarp on the roof. I stickered the vehicles and a notice of violation was issued for the roof and rubbish.
Is that residential or is it commercial?
It's residential.
Okay.
That's the pictures. The ordinance that was violated was 308.1, accumulation of rubbish and garbage. The corrective action was to remove any and all blight material, trash, garbage, broken or unusable items, dispose of them properly. The other one was 304.7, roof and drainage. Corrective action was hire a licensed contractor to repair or replace any and all sections of the roof that were damaged, missing, or in disrepair. The roof must be weather and insect resistant to obtain necessary and attain any necessary permits. On 5/17/22, I observed multiple violations and abandoned vehicles on the property. On the same day, I issued a notice of violation for the accumulation of rubbish, trash, garbage, and roof and drainage. Service was achieved by posting the property and on City Hall with a notice of violation. On 6/21/22, I spoke with the owner and he requested an extension to clean up the property because he had been working multiple jobs and was limited time to spend on the property. On 9/1/22, I conducted a reinspection of the property. The vehicles had been removed, but the property had not been cleaned on this date. I requested a hearing for a special magistrate. I posted a notice on 9/21. I posted a notice of hearing on the property in the City Hall. And 10/12, I spoke with the property owner. He stated that he couldn't get it done because he had broken his neck and he had recently been incarcerated. This is the pictures from the first reinspection. And this is the one I took yesterday. So he got some of the stuff cleaned up. But
That's from yesterday?
that's from yesterday.
Okay.
Staff recommendation, adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $99.33 plus all other costs accrued. Allow 30 days to bring the violation into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $50 a day.
Okay, thank you. We'll take your presentation and make it Exhibit A to the case. You can submit that to the clerk. Thank you. Is the respondent here and would you like to be heard? Come forward, please.
My name's Mr. Marrero.
Raise your right hand. Please swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay. And go ahead and state your name again.
My name's Mr. Torres Marrero. TORRESMARRERO.
Okay. And so, what's your response to this?
I lost my fiance in a house fire last year. She died at Shands Hospital. And so it was just a kitchen fire. She put something on the stove, whatever. That was put out. I had spoke to Mr. Jones. It was kind of hard to go back to the residence. When I got the notice, I did buy the cabinets. I remodel motels here in Gainesville. I own all in one. And I bought the cabinets and appliances and everything to put inside. July 19th, I'm on probation. July 19th, they picked me up for being out of the county. I went to jail for about 7 weeks, 6 weeks, 7 weeks. I broke my neck. When I came out of jail, everything that I possessed in the house, it looks like Hurricane Katrina all right through my house. They said I was never getting out of jail, that I had 3 murder charges, and everybody started stealing everything. Everything that I once possessed is gone from the inside of the house, and what they didn't take, they threw out back. When I got out, I made a police report with the Gainesville Police Department. Yes, I moved the cars and I moved all that. I tried to do my best that I can. I have a broken neck. I walked up here this morning because I didn't have a ride. My truck was stolen. And I've taken out 4 trucks out of there, which I let them scrap. They put everything and took it down the Waldo Road to the recycling center. So I went through the process of going through the yard, all my clothes that had price tags and shoes and whatever they didn't steal, they threw it. So now I was trying to salvage my stuff so I can have some clothes. And I know but it's hard with the doctor's appointments and everything. If you could just give me another week or so, I'd have it. I mean, they took everything out of my house. I bought the tar paper, I bought the shingles, I bought everything. Everything is now gone. I was working 3 jobs, TGI Friday, Gumby's Pizza, and Metro Diner. So the hurricane thing really hurt me because some of my guys are down south. So I've been doing it on my own. That trailer that you seen right there in that picture, loaded the trailer. The guy couldn't come, he needed the trailer. And so I had to unload the trailer by myself, which now sits 2 tires, everything else is pushed out of the way. I just need 2 more weeks and I can get it done. My doctor's appointments with the neurologist and the neck doctor and everything else has put a stop on things because I don't have no transportation. So I really feel like I'm homeless right now because everything's gone out of my house with this 7 weeks in jail that I did and then fighting now with and I'm not putting no excuse. I'm just telling you how it is. If I wouldn't have gone to jail for them 7 weeks, all that would have been out of there. It would have been cleaned up. It wouldn't even look the way it looked then. But I have been cleaning it up. I've been putting everything. I know if I set it neatly on the side of the road, the trash people will come pick it up. I got to neatly stack it. And that's all I can say. It just needs just a little bit more time, but I promise it'll be clean.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll rule accordingly.
I don't even
You-
need 30 days.
Well, I'm not going to give you 30 days, but I'll give you some time. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 10 days, and then it'll take some time for the order to come out. So that gives you effectively probably around 20 days. Okay? 15 to 20, maybe 15 to 22. So it'll be somewhere in that range. And so you'll need to hustle up. Okay? But these things go on for a long time, and I understand that things can and do go wrong. And you showed progress with the property in that last photo. I mean, I think clearly you're making a strong effort, and you're here today. And so I want to, and one of the things I want you to understand is we hardly ever release the cost. So when it gets this far, about 98% of the time, people walk out of here paying the cost. So that's just kind of a policy that I think is important to have. That you know, those that respond and avoid the hearings don't have to pay the cost. So when you get here, you almost always. And here's what I'm going to do for you, okay? Because it sounds like you've had a tough run, and I'm a little concerned that you've got some physical limitations that is going to make it hard. So hopefully you can gather some, you know, some of your buds, and y'all can at least satisfy the code office.
Oh, that'll be done.
Okay, so
In the backyard.
okay, so he.
Cut them up.
So I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty. I'm going to assess administrative costs of $99.33 plus all other costs accrued. I'm going to allow 30 days. I'm going to allow 15 days to bring the violations into compliance. And if compliance is not achieved, then I'm going to assess a fine of $50 a day. If compliance is achieved within the 15 days allowed, then we're going to forgive the administrative cost. So if you'll get this done within 15 days, you won't owe any money. So that's, okay?
Yes, sir.
So hustle it up and do the best you can, and these guys will work with you. You call them, make sure they are informed by that 15th day so they can come out and re-inspect, okay? Okay. Okay, the next case is Special Magistrate number 2022-108, City of Gainesville versus Robert and Maddie Gainey. Ms. Gainey, just take a seat for now. The city
Okay.
is going to need to make their presentation.
Right.
They're getting it.
Okay. It's been a while.
How you doing?
I'm doing good, sir.
Yeah, where's that number again? It's, you got it.
This is Special Magistrate Case 2022-108. It's 925 Southeast 7th Avenue, and was investigated by me. The property information, the parcel number is 12106000000. The owner is Gainey, Robert, and Maddie. The property zone is RSF4. Ownership was established by researching official public records and documents. It's located right here on Southeast 7th Avenue.
I don't see your dot.
Oh, there's the wrong button.
Right, okay.
Sorry.
Right in there.
It's right next to the Cotton Club right there.
Okay, we got it.
On 5/18/22, I observed that the roof and the front steps of the property were damaged. I spoke with Supervisor Todd Martin about the location, and it was determined that the residential structure was a dangerous building due to the roof collapsing in the back and just the overall structure of the building. This is a picture here of the building. You can see the roof back here is going in a little, and some of the steps and the structure of the building has some issues. This is another close-up video photo of it. The ordinance violation, it was 1619, creating, keeping, maintaining, allowing the existence of dangerous building or hazardous lands unlawful.
Okay.
On 5/18/22, I observed that multiple violations on the property. Supervisor Todd Martin determined that it was a dangerous building. The building appears to be vacant. On 5/18, I issued a notice of violation for the dangerous building. On 5/18/22, service was achieved by posting the property in City Hall with the notice of violation. I spoke with the property owner on 16/22. She requested an extension for the property in an attempt to make the repairs or find a buyer for the property. I advised her that the property would need to be repaired to current code or the dwelling must come down. On 8/17/22, I conducted a re-inspection of the property. The repairs were not made to the property, nor was it sold. On this date, I requested a hearing with Special Magistrate. On 9/21, I posted a notice of the hearing on the property and at City Hall. I have since spoken with the property owner's daughter, who told me that her mother was trying to move somebody into the property and to have them to make the repairs.
So let me be clear, is there anyone living there now?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
This is a photo I took on 10/11. None of the repairs have been made. You can still see the same damage there on the property. Staff recommendations: adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $99.33 plus all other costs, allow 30 days to bring violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a daily fine of $100.
Okay. We'll take your presentation as Exhibit A to the case. May I hear from the respondent? You can come forward now. Hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, state your name for the record.
I'm Maddie Gainey.
Hi, Ms. Gainey. May I have you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you may proceed.
I'm Maddie Gainey, and I own this property at 925 Southeast 10th, Southeast 7th Avenue. And I know it needs repair, but I just don't have the money to fix it. I put it up for sale, the property, but I can't sell it because there's another house there. My daughter lives in that yellow house. Okay, the people that I put the house up, I called them, they never called me back. But I'm still gonna sell both of them, so I'm asking for a little bit more time, 90 days if I can have it. I'm gonna sell both of them because I just don't have the funds to fix it up. I'm on a fixed income, and I just don't have it. I'm gonna sell both of them.
I understand.
Because the attorney I talked to, he said I cannot sell one, but not the other one.
Okay, so this is kind of where we're at on this, right? Is that you've got a building that legally we call it an attractive nuisance.
Right.
It invites people to come inside and tear it up and they do things. And so it creates an eyesore on the neighborhood.
Right.
So I have to balance, the fact that other people in the area are having to live with this older house, and it drags everybody's property down.
Right.
So we got to get it fixed.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm completely understand where you're at, and I understand the challenges that you're facing coming up with the funds and so forth.
Right.
I'd like to think that there are people in the community that could, maybe help or provide some assistance or something. Your family, maybe. But at the same, so I got to balance those two interests. Okay. What I can tell you is this: we have the ability to revisit the fines. So we don't know how long. If I impose a fine, I say 30 days to bring the violations into compliance, and it takes you 6 months to get a team in there and help you and maybe fix the roof and do some corrective work and make it to where it's not a problem anymore. You can come back and you can make a request through the office, through the code enforcement office, for reduction and rescission of fine. And in fact, we're taking these cases out of order since you're here, but it usually starts with, our agenda starts with reduction and rescission. Okay, so I'm going to impose some penalties on you, but I want you to know that I will gladly revisit what you've done and how this thing unfolded, as far as you understanding that this is an impact on your neighbors that live there, right? That I need you to take responsibility to try and do your very best on limited income and so forth, but to do everything you can to go to your church, go to your neighbors, go to family, whoever, to try and get them to help you with this problem.
Well, I don't want to keep it. I'm going to sell it. Both of them.
Well,
I'm trying to sell both of them.
Well, you may find, though, that you have to fix it you have to at least make it more presentable before somebody will come in and buy it.
Well,
if you have this problem with the lot split, where you have two houses and your daughter lives in one, and then So you may not be able to sell one without the other.
No, that's
And
what
then
the
that
law
would mean
said.
you do have to fix it up, or your daughter's got to sell the one she lives in too.
Yeah.
So,
I'm selling them as is.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm selling. The guy already offered one to buy it, but I can't sell it until I sell the yellow one with my
Well,
daughter.
and so when that happens, so I'm going to, so you ready for my ruling? You ready for me to rule on this? Okay, so I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty. I'm going to assess administrative costs of $45 plus all other costs accrued. I'm going to allow 30 days to bring the violations into compliance. And if compliance is not achieved, I'm going to assess a fine of $25 a day. Now, I'll revisit that if it takes you time, or if you get a buyer, because this is going to attach. So, what I would call it, it attaches to the deed, right? It attaches to the property. And so, if somebody comes in and buys it, they'll have to address these. You get somebody to buy it, I'll revisit them in that capacity too. So either you can fix it or you can sell it, and I'll revisit this, okay?
Thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Okay, thank you.
That's the next one. The next case is Special Magistrate number 2022-109, City of Gainesville versus Gator Argot, Gainesville, LLC.
He's one of the neighbors. He wanted to comment on that case.
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not. Come forward.
Sure.
Kind of messed that up.
Hi, my name is Todd Bicker,
Okay.
and I own the house at 931 Southeast 7th, which is just east of the property.
Okay,
And they have had this property like this for 7-8 years since I bought the house. So I don't know if they're going to be able to comply with it in 6 months. Also, the yellow house that is on their property is on my property.
was it purchased that way?
I bought the house that way unknowingly.
That's a question for the courts.
Yes, well, I will be taking that up with the court soon. So that, on top of this, will also be happening with that property.
Okay. Okay.
And if you look at the
I mean, that
city's,
doesn't necessarily
the
affect
city's
my.
website, it shows that house on my property.
That problem that she's facing is a rather common problem here, because so much of the inability of people to keep up with their property is
Well, I understand.
is driven by poverty and
The initial part of the house that you're speaking of that's dilapidated was the initial residence. And then the yellow house was a shed that they converted into a house. So it's really, and it shows it as being two different properties, but it's really one. It shows 925 and 927 on the same property, which is only a single-family residence.
well, it certainly raises a lot of issues.
Yes.
But I don't know that I'm the right person to bring them with. I mean, those are issues of the legalities of the second structure and the zoning regulations.
Okay. Well, I would appreciate some due diligence on this property. No.
And again, that wouldn't be for this position. That would be through the code enforcement office and other things. It'd be through the building department,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
And in the analysis would be the legalities of the two structures. You know, when were they put together? What permits do they possess?
There
Those
were
are
none.
things that were not brought forward today.
Right.
But
Okay,
okay.
all right, thank you.
And my apologies. I did not realize that you were here to speak on behalf of that. Thank you. Okay, next. Special Magistrate number 2022-109, City of Gainesville versus Gator Argett, Gainesville LLC. Officer Ward. Good morning, sir. Okay, let me re-announce it then. So, to correct the record, it's special magistrate, is that right? I mean, which one's correct? The agenda has it as 113.
I can do an amendment to this if I need to.
It's just really a question of which one's the correct number.
Well, the paperwork that I had in my office showed 113.
Okay, so we'll announce it, and I guess we'll need to correct that. It's Special Magistrate number 2022-113, City of Gainesville versus Gator Argett, Gainesville LLC.
Good
You may
morning.
proceed, sir.
Thank you, sir. Richard Ward, Code Enforcement Officer, City of Gainesville. Case before you is 2022-113. Address is 3345 Southwest 34th Street. Parcel number 06780-000-000. Owner is Gator Argate LLC. Property zoning is planned development. Ownership established by researching official documents and public records. This is the map of the area. This is the shopping center. These are the ponds that they own. The one in question is this pond down here. It's called Basin Number 3. This road right here is 32nd Terrace, and it runs down to Southwest 35th Place. This will be Archer Road, 34th Street.
And we are, and north is up.
That's southwest. I'm sorry, southwest.
The up is north,
So,
right?
yes, north will be this direction. Like I said, this is Archer Road and Southwest 34th Street. You got Coles here.
And Carrabba's and so forth.
Correct, Carrabba's
Okay.
is up here.
Okay, I'm with you.
Ordinance violated is 30-6.13.2.B.1. General Standards, I. All drainage facilities shall provide a positive outfall to existing water courses, water bodies, wetlands, or storm sewer systems unless it can be proven that it is a closed system. The condition is the stormwater system for this property has continually failed, causing flooding to occur on Southwest 32nd Terrace. The flooding is causing the access roadway and sidewalk leading to the University Town Center to be a hazard to vehicles, as well as pedestrians who depend on this roadway to access the merchants who occupy the property. Corrective action was to repair or replace the stormwater infrastructure to promote a positive outflow in order to maintain an acceptable water level in Basin Number 3. On 6/16 of 2022, I received this complaint from Alachua County Housing Authority concerning the flooding roadway. I spoke to Mr. Tim Bolliger from Public Works. He was already aware of this complaint. This flooding has been going on for a few years, and the road and sidewalks flood, limiting pedestrian travel and damaging the asphalt and also the line rock base in the roadway. In my conversation with Mr. Bolliger, he stated the stormwater system has pop-offs that are not functioning properly and therefore not draining the water down to keep the road from flooding. Ordered a site plan from our storage facility for this property. On 6/21, I received the site plan and the plan development for this property and began my review of the stormwater system and maintenance notations. On 6/28, I met with Public Works officials, and concerning this issue, we reviewed the site plan, discussed the language for the corrective action that's in the notice of violation. On 7/19, I finished my review of the plan development for this property and issued the notice of violation with 20-day time frame to comply. Compliance date was set at 8/9/2022. On 7/22, I posted the notice of violation on the property and at City Hall. On 7/26/2022, I spoke to a Miss Kathy McCann with our Gator Argate LLC. She agreed to get started on the flooding issue on that day. I told her that they are going to have to pump the water down and keep it pumped down until the repairs to the stormwater system have been completed. I also stated that unless they keep the water pumped down and off the street, I will not be able to approve any extension of time for their notice of violation. On 8/3/2022, I received an email from Ms. McCann showing photos of the dry road leading out of the shopping center. She stated, and I quote, "The pump is still pumping out the retention pond, so there will be more room for the water to drain if we get more heavy rains." As I mentioned, we are working with a new contractor to have the drainage issue repaired by replacing pipes that lead to the retention ditch in the front of the center. Please send confirmation or verification that the issue is resolved, and please call me with any comments or questions, end quote. On 8/4/2022, I responded to Ms. McCann's email, and I quote, I said, "Thank you for the update and pics. When will the replacement of the stormwater piping begin?" End quote. On 8/16/2022, I met on site with Public Works officials. Repairs to the stormwater system have not been made as of that date. I proceeded forward with special magistrate hearing for this case. On 8/17, while preparing this case for the hearing, I discovered that the wrong parcel and owner was cited. There are numerous parcels involved in this property. I think there's like 5, with different ownership names.
Does it all appear to be under kind of single management?
So I think I'll show that in my case timeline. I did have contact with Ms. McCann from Gator Argate, but the property that I cited was not Gator Argate.
What was it?
Gator
Argate, Gainesville?
No, it was a totally different owner, but yet they all are interrelated. Looks to me like under an umbrella of some sort.
Okay.
So
is there a unified site plan?
there is a unified site plan.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay, so I reissued a corrected notice of violation on this date, on 8/17, to Gator Argate LLC, and I posted this notice on the property and at City Hall. I reissued the notice. The reissued notice had a new compliance date of 9/1 of this year. On 8/17, I received a call the same day. I received a call from Kathy McCann, and she stated that she is a little concerned that I had not replied to her concerning her request to place this case in compliance because they had pumped the water down in Basin 3 Pond to alleviate the flooding issue. I stated that I did respond to her email and requested further information on when the stormwater piping will be replaced, and that she failed to respond to my email. I also stated that they are not in compliance until repair or replacement of the stormwater infrastructure has been completed. She responded that she has a contractor from South Florida submitting a proposal this Friday. I then stated that I had reissued the notice because of the clerical error. So all this is happening on the same day. And so she now has a new compliance date of 9/1/2022. She at that time stated that this new time frame is unrealistic, and I told her that this violation has been going on for over 2 years, and they've had plenty of time to correct these issues. On 8/19/2022, I posted the reissued notice of violation. On 8/30/2022, I went to the location after this weekend's rain event, and I found the retention pond full, roadway flooded. There was no pump present to pump down the pond. On 9/2/22, I went to the location again and found the property still in violation. I processed at that point for the special magistrate hearing. On 9/8/2022, I again went to the location because we had another rain event, and the water level was higher at that time than I had ever seen it. Caution tape had been stretched across the road but was now torn down, and motors continued to use this roadway. On 9/13, I received an email from Ms. McCann stating that, quote, I met with Christopher Bennett of Bennett Site Contractors, and he will start pumping the water down today and send a proposal and can begin next week, meaning Monday, end quote. On 9/14, I went to the location this afternoon and did not find anyone working on the issue. There was no pump on site at the time of visit. The roadway is still flooded. On 9/15, I went to the location. At this time, I did observe Southern Site Prep, which is Mr. Chris Bennett, and he was waiting for the delivery of a pump. This is a photo that I took on 6/16 when I first got this case. This is Southwest 32nd Terrace. 35th Place is down in this direction. Basin 3 will be over to this side. There are 2 stormwater drains in the roadway here. Now, this is a privately owned road. The city owns from about this point out toward 35th Place. Okay. Another picture on that same date. This is Basin 3. As you can see, it is very full. 7/13, I took this photo. These are car parks where the cars are going through the water at a little bit too fast of a speed, and this is the undershield off the front end of a car. You can see that here, another piece here, pieces of car here. There's a piece of car down here. Numerous pieces of car have been picked up off of this street. Another angle of that car parts. 7/13. Again, took a picture. The water is still covering the road as well as the sidewalk here. Alachua County has all these homes in here are Alachua County Housing Authority. On 8/16, photograph was taken, and this was when she pumped, Ms. McCann had sent me the email saying they had pumped it down. And this is the road, the dry roadway. As you can see, the storm drains. You can see where the road's been patched. And then here's the same on 8/16. Here's a picture of the sand that's been washing down into the storm drain. But you also notice on this side, a lot of erosion behind the curb where all this, the water has been pushing this sand up over the curb and down the street into the storm drain. Picture of the storm drain. It is full. That's one of them.
That's, looks like leaf debris, leaves.
Leaves, sand, dirt, just,
Is it completely clogged based on your observation?
excuse me?
Is it clogged?
It is.
Okay.
8:30, I took this photograph. Water is down. You can see your sidewalk. Car still traversing through that water. And this is a picture I took on 9/8, where I said it was higher than I'd ever seen it. As you can tell, it is way over the sidewalks. You can't even see the sidewalks. Photograph was taken on 10/5. They've got the water after Mr. Chris Bennett, the contractor.
Where are they pumping the water to?
So they're pumping the water back into this. There's an area back here that drains. There's another, I guess it's another retention area. Okay. And that's where the water is being pumped to right now, just to get it down to a manageable level.
Is that their land?
So they had permission from FDOT.
Okay.
Photograph taken on 10/11.
Is there a bigger problem here with the functionality, with the ability of this basin to be able to
And
absorb the water in the
I'm
storm events?
gonna ask Mr. Tim Bolliger from Public Works to step forward and address that if I can.
Okay. Were you sworn earlier? Please state your name for the record.
Tim Bolliger.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you may proceed.
The main issue here is, if you can see that concrete structure in the corner of the picture,
Yeah.
that's what drains the pond when it gets to an elevation. That it goes over that. It's to keep the water out of the road and off the drainage system. The pipe,
I see it.
there's a pipe that runs through there under all them cypress trees that goes out and it dumps into the state as it's permitted.
Is it functional?
No, this pipe here is collapsed. This started with Public Works back in December of 2018, and I've been working with Kathy McCannon on this numerous times. We had a crew walk out here. I've showed them the issues, and finally, from 2018 to 2022, we weren't getting nowhere, and that brick was brought in at that point.
And so that pipe and its discharge point, that's all done
Yep.
pursuant to an approved plan?
Correct. It's all done. It's on the original site plans we pulled. We pulled the drainage plans, everything. It's the way it's supposed to be. And
Except that it's collapsed.
my theory is all these cypress trees are right over it, and I see it because this is what I do every day. It's full of cypress roots. So a portion of this pipe under these trees is gonna have to be replaced in order for it to function because it's totally clogged right now.
Oh, okay, so we're
And
not
the only way-
we're not talking about the entire length of it.
No, the length is like 1,200 something feet because actually this pipe comes down here in 90s and goes all the way back up to Carrabba's. But
Okay.
the problem is from here to this corner down here, and then it's fine after that.
Okay,
So it's a portion of the pipe, couple hundred feet, maybe, that needs to be removed from under the trees because all the cypress knees are growing into the pipe, and that's what's clogging the pipe.
now does your office do the approvals on the plans? So if they were to come forward and say, here's a repair plan and so forth, would you be involved in that?
We've already discussed that they don't need a permit from us. It's a maintenance aspect, and they're fixing what's there. There's nothing new going in as far as a new structure, nothing. There's new pipe going in, but it's gonna be considered maintenance.
But
So-
so you're not involved, no permits?
No,
nothing.
no permits are needed, nothing.
Have they come to you, though, with a definitive plan?
No.
Saying this is what we're going to do and this is
Nothing.
when we're going to do it?
Nothing.
Would you expect that?
After we told them that they didn't even need a permit from us, they just needed to get the issue resolved, I wouldn't expect that.
You would not.
But since 2018, I was hoping it would have been resolved because we've been out there numerous times since then dealing with this.
And so tell me the businesses that are discharging to this pond.
So it used to be Earth Fair. Now there's a new grocery
Oh,
store.
so it's that
right there.
grocery store
It's
complex?
Hooters, Carrabba's, Earth Fair, World of Beer. It was the Peach Valley. That whole shopping center discharges into these ponds.
Okay, good. Anything else?
No, we're just ready. We've been through the lawyer with it. We get claims. We've actually had to go back and repave part of our road from the water sitting on it deteriorating. We did that last year. We put end of city maintained to try to let the residents know that this is a private issue because we've been dealing with lawsuits and everything through the city, which we refer them back to them because it's not our property.
I understand.
But we're constantly getting calls and complaints on it. And it's a safety hazard for the sidewalk, people trying to go from them houses to the stores. They can't get across the sidewalks and they're underwater.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You may proceed with your presentation, sir.
Thank you. Staff recommendations, adjudication of guilt. Assess administrative costs of $359.90 plus all other costs accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $500 a day until compliance has been achieved.
Okay. May I, yeah, leave it there. May I hear from the respondent? Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you swear, please state your name for the record.
Kathy McCann.
And do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, you may proceed.
So I have been working with Mr.
Let
Tim.
me ask you, what's your position within the
I'm
organization?
a property manager for Gator, Argate, Gainesville. Actually, I'm a property manager for Gator Investments, who owns a portion of the shopping center. There are several owners there. We own the portion of the shopping center. We have 5 tenants. We have the Ensign's Market down to the U-Fit. The other stores up in the front, the little shopping center with the smoothie restaurant in it and the Asian market in it, Daryl's Diner, World of Beer, Carrabba's, they all have separate owners. And we act as a property manager for the ownership.
For all of those businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
And I was actually going to print you out a copy of the property management agreement and the REA agreement. We have a restrictions and easement agreement for the access ways to get in and out and that type of thing.
Okay. Okay, proceed.
So he's true. I just had started managing this property when it first flooded. My predecessor was actually pumping. He had pumped the street and pumped it into a different DOT pond. There's actually 4 ponds on the property, and he had pumped it across the street. So we did some investigative work. I hired a company. I met out on site and we walked it, and we had, I believe they were there the day that we walked the site. We had Florida Jet Clean come out, and they jet the entire pipe system through all the ponds to try to clear a clog. If it were
You're talking about that stretch that we were describing?
I'm talking about the entire shopping center, the entire stretch of every pipe, including, and so we determined where we believe the clog was, because the water wouldn't go through there, and then we picked it up at the next manhole, and it did go out to Carrabba's. And then it all empties out into another DOT ditch that runs down the front of the property. So we hired a company called Welch & Sons to come out. He was a site work contractor from here in Gainesville, and he said it would be no problem. He would get it done, and he fell off the face of the planet. I call him and say, we have to get this done. Again, that was ongoing for a while. Right now we have a huge pump there, and it's still there, and pond number 3 is pumped out almost empty. So it will not overflow. And I have a company, Mr. Bennett's company, who has cameraed the lines now, because he wouldn't. I tried to get it done. I told Mr. Ward that 2 weeks just was not enough time to dig up pipe, to find a clog, dig up pipes, do whatever we needed to do with Swift Mud, DOT. I don't know about the politics of Gainesville, but I know in St. Petersburg, when you get wetlands involved, it's a huge it's huge. Again, they wanted to get an engineer involved to see if they could move the pipes a little bit so that this doesn't happen again, because the site is only like 5 years old, 6 years old. And if it started happening 4 years ago, then we could realistically anticipate that it'll happen again in a year or two. So why go back and go to all that expense again? So I have Southern Site, he cameraed the lines. He decided that he did not want to dig up the pipe and replace it and then find out later that there was another place further down the line that had more of a clog. At the time that we had it, we had the sewer, by the way, suctioned, which cost $3,800 to have that done. And so that's all cleaned out. So he cameraed the line, he videoed. I was hoping to have a video here to show you today, and I could certainly send you one once I have possession of it. But on the 7th of October, he cameraed the lines of the 10-inch storm pipe on the north side of Pond 3. And it does have cypress knees all through it. He had told me that he didn't think that it did, because it's hard to grow, for a piece of wood to grow through a piece of plastic. But it does have cypress knees all in it, so that's going to have to be taken care of as well. He believes that it's 100% blockage, and they are now that they know where to do it, how to dig it up, and where to replace the pipe, that they will start in a Southern Site prep and land clearing strives in getting the job done completed right and the first time in a timely manner. And I can give you this if you'd like. But we're working on it. We've been continually working on it. We had COVID there for a long time. Mr. Ward will tell you that I hired another contractor in South Florida, Tory Tom, who we do a lot of work with all over the state of Florida. And they just didn't respond. So I cannot control how quickly the contractors respond. And once they get there, I don't think they know what to do. So I found Mr. Bennett. He owns a site work. We will investigate further as far as engineering goes to see if the pipes should be moved. But in the meantime, we can get it done. He said he could start next Monday.
Okay, anything else?
Again, when we were violated, the wrong owner was violated. So we were actually given a period of time of 2 weeks to get this done, which is quite unrealistic to dig up a pond. I have to be in touch with, not Swift Mud, I guess it's St. John's here, Water Management District, and the Department of Transportation, and make sure everybody's on board with us doing this.
Do you have anything with you that would establish that the water management districts or the Department of Environmental Protection would have jurisdiction over this issue?
No, they actually contacted me because Mr.
No, I'm asking you a
I
question.
don't have it with me, no, sir.
Okay. Do you dispute that this has been going on in some form or capacity since 2018?
No, sir.
Yeah, and you understand it's in the end analysis, it's just a pipe, right? In the end analysis, it's just a clogged pipe. It's a clogged drain.
It's a 10-inch
I understand.
clogged drain that's underwater on a bank of a pond that empties into a DOT waterway, and yes.
It's a clogged drain. It's a big drain. It's a large drain, no question, but it's a clogged drain, correct?
It's a clogged pipe.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and rule. I mean, it's my position that 4 years is enough time to take care of a clogged pipe.
But we were never violated for the pipe in the past. We were violated for the water in the street.
Yeah, but
And
you-
we've already always taken care of the water in the street. And we've been diligently pursuing an answer to the pipe.
Doesn't look like to me that you were adequately dealing with the flooding in our streets. Doesn't look like to me that you were prepared for a major storm event, which we are subject to during hurricane season and out of hurricane season. So, and quite candidly, you know, I've already dealt with a couple of cases this morning where people just simply do not have the resources to do the right thing. And, you know, they just don't have the financial resources. And we still have to issue them fines and we still have to penalize. So we're dealing with a really substantial commercial corner in our community with, it's well established. I understand, I mean, I was there before any of that stuff was built and it's always had drainage issues. And so, you know, it has to be taken care of. And it's my job to incentivize you to take care of it. Okay?
May I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
If we own that street, why can't we just close off the street if it's such a hazard?
You have a site plan that went through the city of Gainesville's processes, and when you and the owner of this property decided that they wanted to develop this into some of the most expensive real estate in our entire community, that they were going to follow the site plan and they were going to manage the property appropriately, and they were going to make sure that the systems that had been approved, that were designed by the engineers for the developer and approved by the city of Gainesville, that those were going to be properly maintained. Okay? Fundamental. And it's not being done. And it needs to be done. And enough is enough. 4 years is enough time. I get it. It's a big job. It's expensive. But it's a lot of, you guys have the resources. You don't have an excuse that you can't afford it. Okay, that one's a little bit more difficult for me to overcome. Just letting this system go for 4 years without proper maintenance is not acceptable. You're a
But
landlord.
we have been maintaining it.
No, ma'am, you have not. No, ma'am, you have not.
We haven't moved the pipe. We have not moved the pipe. But in instances of jetting out the system and cleaning out the storm drains, they're done on a consistent basis. And the street's been pumped while we look for a better solution to the problem. And shouldn't whoever reviewed the site plan take some responsibility? Because it's obviously a flawed plan?
No, ma'am, that's completely on the owner of the property, 100%. So you ready for me to rule?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to follow staff's recommendations. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty. I'm going to assess administrative costs of $359.90 plus all other costs accrued. I'm going to allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $500 a day until a compliance has been achieved. I suggest you get busy
May I? Yes, because
and get somebody out there to do this work.
we do have somebody out there.
Good. Yeah.
Okay.
It should have been done a long time ago. It would have saved us a lot of consternation.
Okay.
Thank you.
for your time.
All right, have a good day.
Oh, would you like my letter from my contractor that he's working on?
Exhibit A is admitted. The letter from the contractor will be admitted as Exhibit B. What's our next case? What's that? G1. So we're just going back to, okay, I'm just going to take, I've got to adjourn for 5 minutes, and then we'll be back. Is that, we'll call us back to order in a couple minutes. Okay, we're going to reconvene, and the next item on the agenda will be reduction in rescission matter at Special Magistrate 2021-050, City of Gainesville versus Willis Howell, care of the new owner, Alex Beelan.
Thank you, Your Honor. Case 2021-050, address is 753,
Mr. Backhouse.
1753.
Mr. Backhouse, please state your name for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pete Backhouse, Code Enforcement Manager for the City of Gainesville.
Okay.
Again, address is 1753 Northeast 20th Place. I'm presenting. Parcel number is 10626-035-000. Owner of the property is Andre Beelan. Zone single family, and ownership is established by researching official public records and documents. The location is actually around the corner from the house that we saw earlier on Northeast 16th Way. This is Waldo Road, 16th Way is up here, and 20th Place is right there.
Got it.
On 5/20/21, Officer Grayson Boyd conducted an inspection of the property, found the lot overgrown. Notice of violation was issued for violation of Section 13-302.4 weeds. Premises and exterior property shall be maintained free from weeds and plant growth in excess of 12 inches. As the violation was not corrected, case was heard by you on September 9th, 21. Guilty verdict was obtained, violation to be corrected by 9/23, or a fine of $25 a day would be assessed, plus costs of $381.55. Property was placed into compliance on 6/14/22. Fines accumulated to $6,575. The costs in the case have been paid. On July 12th, I met, and my boss, Director Andrew Persons, met with Andre Beelan via a Teams session, and Mr. Beelan advised that he bought the property at a tax deed auction in November of 21, was unaware of the lien at the time. He redeveloped the property, spent approximately $40,000 to renovate it, and has sold the property to a family who is currently occupying it. Based on the amount spent to renovate the property, its current condition, as well as being occupied by a family, which is what we want to have happen, the city recommends a total rescission of the fines. This was the state of the property when Officer Boyd started the case. This is what the property looks like today. So we are very happy with the efforts of Mr. Beelan. He is here today to discuss his efforts with you and for you. And based on the original violation, the money invested, the correction of the violation, the city recommends that the fine of $6,575 be rescinded. I'd like to present my PowerPoint.
The PowerPoint is admitted as Exhibit 1 to the record. Mr. Beelan, you want to be heard?
Yes.
Nicely done. I felt like I was in one of those TV shows where they do the review, you know.
Pretty much.
Please state your name for the record.
It's Andre Bellin.
And is the testimony you're about to give the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you may proceed.
Oh, yeah, so just like, I bought the property at a tax deed. I didn't know how it looks like. I didn't go there beforehand or anything like that. And once we purchased it, I started remodeling and doing the work. I did all the work myself, except for what needed to be done by a company, like the electric, AC, and all that stuff. It was in really bad condition when we got there, a lot of trash everywhere, it was very, very bad. So we cleaned that up. I hired local people that lived in the area that helped clean up the property, and then just started renovating it and bringing it to the way it looks like today. And then we found out about the lien when we went to sell the property, and that's the title company found that for us. And we paid the fee that was needed to be paid, and then we're here today. So that's another thing I wanted to say. When we got offers, we got plenty of offers from investors, from out-of-town investors, local investors, who wanted to buy the property as an investment property, and we never agreed to sell to any of those. So we always wanted to sell to a family to move in the area. and which we did. So we got the family that lives there. It's a local family that actually lives there now. And then also the neighbors were very, very happy. The lady across the street, the neighbor next door, they were very happy that somebody finally is doing something about this house. Because there were a lot of complaints all the time, and everybody was very happy for that.
Are you doing this with other properties in the area?
Oh, yes, I do, yes, I am. I'm doing that. I'm doing this as a job, but also I'm trying to be mindful of how it's impacting the community.
Okay.
So it's not necessarily just to make a profit here, but it's also like, who do we sell to and what we do and where we purchase, and trying to help overall.
Okay. Well, hearing the testimony of the respondent, it is my decision that the fine will be rescinded to 0 in this matter. So
Thank you
thank
so
you
much.
for your efforts and good luck. And there's a lot of properties that move through
Yes.
this process that are potential candidates for you.
We are trying.
So good luck with everything.
Thank you, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay. Next item, are we ready to just proceed? Cases to be heard, we've already done this one. Two, this will be Special Magistrate number 2022-114, City of Gainesville versus Karen of Gainesville LLC. Officer Ward, keeping you busy this morning.
Tax parcel is 06801-003-000. There is no 911 address to this property. It is vacant land. Owner is Coran of Gainesville LLC. Property zoning is business. Ownership established by researching official documents and records. So, let me get my bearings straight here.
It got distorted, didn't it?
Yes, sir. Okay, so this is Southwest 40th Boulevard. This will be Archer Road. This is going south. This would be the old Kerr's Wing House property, El Dorado Mexican Restaurant, Jewelry,
Okay.
Hotel, and the property in question here is this shaped property here.
Interesting. Okay.
Ordinance violated is 1619. It shall be unlawful for any owner of real property within the city to create, keep, maintain, or allow the existence of any dangerous building or hazardous land as defined below and or on such real property. Upon my inspection of this location, I observed tents, trash, debris, shopping carts filled with trash, personal items, water-filled containers full of mosquito larvae, and other unsightly items scattered throughout the property. There is also a missing stormwater grate, leaving an exposed stormwater drain on the southeast side of the property. The site is an active homeless camp. Corrective action was to remove all the items mentioned, remove all the overgrowth, and secure the stormwater drain to prevent anyone or any vehicle from falling into the drain. I'd like to add, this complaint originated through GPD. They were dealing with some issues on that property, and they were afraid that one of their officers or fire truck might drive off into these storm drains. Case timeline 6/15 of 2022, I responded to the location, found the property littered throughout with shopping carts full of trash, debris, cans, bottles, cans, old furniture, evidence of human feces, containers filled with water, mosquito larvae. Also found the stormwater drain on the southeast side of the property missing a stormwater grate. Property is overgrown and is an active homeless camp. On 6/16, I sent a notice of violation to the owner with a compliance date of 7/16/2022 through a 30-day time frame. On 6/17, I posted the notice of violation on the property and at City Hall. On 6/18, certified mail was delivered to the owner, and he called me. He was a little bit upset that he was noticed to clean this property up again. He has previously cleaned this property numerous times. He stated that he pays a lot of money every year in taxes, and he believes that the city should keep this property clean and trespassed for him. 7/13, I received a call from the owner's son. And he told me that the property was in the process of being cleaned up. I went to the property and found the property was in that process of being mowed and all the debris was being picked up. Anyway, he stated that the stormwater grates were ordered, but they would take a few weeks for delivery. I mentioned the urgency to get the stormwater drain secured and discussed with him about installing possibly posts around the holes or the hole. I actually found 2 by this time. There were 2 that were missing grates. He agreed to installing the posts within the next week. On 7/20, I went to the property and found it had been mowed. All the debris was removed. Storm drains are still not secured. On 9/1, I went to the location, found the stormwater drain still open, no posts installed, and I processed this case for special magistrate hearing. That is a picture from 6/15. This is looking south toward the Curves Wing House property. You can see all the debris scattered through here. More debris taken on 6/15. Another photograph from 6/15. More photographs. That is a picture of the first stormwater drain that I had found with the missing grate. That drain is probably 30 inches by 40 inches. Or 30 inches by 48 inches, I'm sorry, and probably 6 to 7 feet deep. And it is inside the perimeter, the parking lot area. There is paved old parking lot.
What was this property used for?
So before it was I think it was the old Gainesville Inn was the name of it when it peaked. Yeah. It's been demolished for many years. So it's been sitting vacant for, I don't know, probably 10, 12 years.
Okay.
On 7/20, I went back and there the property has been cleaned up, mowed. There was one camper still over in the back corner, but he also left the property. Another photograph of that property. And this was a picture from 9/2. I went out there and this is one stormwater drain. This was the second one that I had found. And notice that half the grate is missing. And there's the other grate, or the other storm drain. Again, taken on 9/2. Went back on yesterday and took these photos. And there's the second drain. Both still missing grates. And just so you can have a better idea of the one that's missing the entire grate, that is it there. As you can tell, vehicles can go through the area. Staff recommendations: adjudication of guilt, assess administrative costs of $177.16, plus all other costs as accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $250 per day.
Is there any, your presentation will be admitted as Exhibit 1?
Yes.
Or Exhibit A, excuse me. Is there anybody here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I'm going to follow staff's recommendation. I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $177.16, plus all other costs accrued. Allow 10 days to bring the violations into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $250 a day.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item will be Special Magistrate number 2022-116, City of Gainesville versus Platinum Homes, LLC. Officer Jones, keeping you busy too.
Yeah.
All right, you may proceed.
Name is Officer Jones, Lorenzo Jones. Special Magistrate case number 2022116. The address is 1923 Northeast 16th Way. It was investigated by me. So. The parcel number is 10746 000 000. The owner is Platinum Homes LLC. Property zoning RMF 5. Ownership established by researching official public records and documents. The property is on the same street as the previous home. It's adjacent to Waldo Road and 16th Avenue. On 8/11/22, I received an email from the city arborist notifying me of a large dead lower oak tree that was deemed hazardous and needed to be removed. He said it had been marked and no permit or mitigation was needed. That's the tree.
Is it the one hanging over the house?
It's that
Oh, you gotta remember, you gotta go over here.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's that, okay.
Yeah, that right there. That's a closer shot of it. It's like, it's right over this property fence line and closer to the road.
Okay.
The ordinance violated was 1317, which is the adoption of the ordinance, and it's 3012. And the corrective action was large dead oak tree deemed hazardous by the arborist must be removed. No permanent mitigation needed. The tree was marked in white paint instead. On 8/11, I received an email from the city arborist and conducted my inspection on the property. On the same day, I issued a notice of violation to have the tree removed from the property. Service was achieved by posting the property in City Hall with the notice of violation. I conducted on 9/14, I conducted a reinspection of the property. The tree had not been removed. On this day, I requested a hearing for a special magistrate. On 9/21, I posted the notice hearing for the property and on the property and at City Hall. On 10/12, I conducted a reinspection again. The property had no changes at all. And that's the photo I took yesterday. Staff recommendation, adjudication of guilt, assess administrative cost of $99.33 plus all other costs accrued. Allow 30 days to bring violation into compliance. If compliance is not achieved, assess a fine of $100 a day.
Okay, anybody here on behalf of the respondent? First, before I forget, your presentations admitted as Exhibit 1 to the record. Seeing nobody here on behalf of the respondent, I'm going to adjudicate the respondent guilty, assess administrative costs of $99.33 plus all other costs accrued, allow 30 days to bring the violation into compliance, and if compliance is not achieved within the time provided, assess a fine of $100 a day. Next item will be, no, we've already done that one. Next item will be City of Gainesville versus Kenneth Wetherington, Special Magistrate number 2022-112. Officer Walters. How are you this?
Good morning, not Officer Walters.
Clearly.
Supervisor Nicole Lardner on behalf of Justin Walters. He is unavailable to testify today and has requested a continuance of this case.
Okay. Anybody here on behalf of the respondent? Seeing none, I will grant the continuance to the next code enforcement hearings. Next item will be, there's no special magistrate. Request to dismiss, okay. There's it's City of Gainesville versus Commercial Net Lease Realty LP, but I don't see a case number on it. And it's been requested to dismiss, and I will grant that. Next item is no, that was already done. Next item will be Special Magistrate number 2021-1 20-069 City of Gainesville versus Napoleon Jean. Officer Lardner.
This is also a request to dismiss. I don't know if that made it on
Oh,
your
we
copy.
did, I see it, okay. The request is hereby granted.
Thank you.
Are there any other items to come before the special magistrate this morning? Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.